Hey everybody, welcome back to DSP Model, and welcome back to the DS9 build. I got the glue in, the Revell Contacted Professional, uh, Amazon warehouse deal, as mentioned by Ian over at Pit Stain Hobbies. That was a tip he gave in one of his videos, and I took advantage of it. As I said in the last video, this is what Donuts in Space, his modeling channel, this is what he used, that he based off of another video that he watched, to glue this particular clear model together, and it worked for him, and so I got it because I'm sick of the fighting the epoxy, and I did just like him. I did a test by gluing the base together in the new kit I got. So I washed it up and put a little, just barely sanded just the edges of where it's going to glue together, and it holding up to a little bit of twisting tension there. I let it dry for just a couple days like he did, which is overkill, I think, just for a test, but I wanted to give it a full cure. That proves this stuff will work. You've just got to give it the time to dry. So now we know what glue we're using. We're gonna move on, and we're gonna start off this video taking these pylons that we did last video, and we're gonna finish them up by putting the little squared details on the tops of each one, or bottoms rather, and then we'll get the docking clamps attached. Go back to the other view. Okay. We'll also get the docking clamps attached. There's a little issue that Donuts in Space also had, and that is there's quite a gap. That black paint's really washing this out, even with the light. There's a let's see, let me get a light. There we go. So there's a gap there that's pretty significant. It's causing issue. Let's use the tweezers, shall we? Where when I put that on there, there's a little gap. It's not really showing up on camera. There you go. There's a little gap on both sides of a hole. So I need to fill the gap. Oh, sorry. I need to fill that gap. I really would like light to come through, to be completely honest, and put run away. I really would like to put some light in here and light up the port ring and the tips of the clamps, like you see in some shots, but it's not really going to be feasible because there's going to be a rod that goes through there that's going to block all the light anyways. If it sat on here, it would be fine, because I mean that little peg is only like a 1/4 inch tall, so it's not gonna, it wouldn't block out the light. But we're gonna have a brass rod go through this. So I've already glued this together, and it was a pain in the butt, so I don't want to crack it open just to put another light bulb in it, because it's not going to be very feasible to try to run it through this, even though there's a hole here, because there's locator pins and all kinds of stuff in the way, and I've got other wires already in here that I don't need to pull loose, particularly that really fragile guy right there. that little SMD, we put too much pull tension on those wires and we will have ruined it. Then we will have to crack the thing open. And I don't think I have any more spare lights. I'd have to order more as well. I'm still debating on it, if you couldn't tell. I really would like some of the light to come through this, but it looks like I'm just gonna have to take some putty and just close it off completely. It would fix both all my problems right there. It just completely eliminates the option of having some light, which is fine. You don't really see them light up in the show unless there's something docked to them, or every now and then there's a specific close-up shot where they used a larger portion of the model mock-up to film it for pickup shots, and then sometimes they lit those a little differently, and you could see the little rings were lit up, and for like the docking clamps, the tips of them would light up. But it's not every shot you see that, and I definitely don't want it to be like super bright, because they're not supposed to be. They're really not supposed to be that noticeable. So I guess it's alright if I don't have them light up. I'll just paint a little detail on there the best I can. So now that we figured that out on camera, I'm gonna take and fill this gap with some putty. I'm probably gonna use some Bondo just to make it. That seems like a good job for Bondo there. And just be careful. I'm gonna get the details on these, and then we will fill those gaps, and then put these on, get everything squared away on that, and then I'll check back in with you. So, see you in a bit. Alright guys, so I've actually done a whole lot. It may not look it, but yeah. I cleaned these up more, these seams and everything more. I did not putty the seam necessarily, because I just sanded it real good. Because there actually is a seam on the real studio model where these go together. So I'm not going to completely get rid of the seam, but I'm going to make it look good, and I'm going to light block it. And I've already started with light blocking on this. I got the rest of the details put on here, and I added the docking clamps. You can see that. And the gap is filled in where that was. I did it first and let everything dry and finished it. And all three of them's ready to go. And then I started light blocking the bottom of this where the seam was real bad on all three of these. And I went off of a tip that Ian at Pit Stain Hobbies gave me. I went and looked, and we happened to have some. I got some black tulips fabric paint, and to light block it with, because it's nice and thick. And then I've even got this stuff, the puffy kind, that's really thick, and I use on specific things. But I just used this, the regular paint on kind, and just took a Q-tip and really globbed it on there. Which this isn't got any light going in it. I'm just trying to help light block it the best I can where those seams were real bad. The only lights are up here at the top. And we will just deal with those as they come. I sanded and used my hobby knife and everything and got this completely here. Different camera. I took and got this completely smooth. From the bottom of this gondola up, and I tried to do the same thing with the top, and where the details are not at. And it's not got all these fancy etched details and stuff like right here. There we go. You can see it. It's not got these up here where I'm gonna have the lights. So we shouldn't have a whole lot of problems with the light leaks anyways. Yeah, I sanded smooth. I mean, there's no lip at all on all three of these, as well as the light, the window that goes across there, goes all the way across. It wasn't completely in line where the two halves met, so I straightened that as well, and sanded it smooth. So we've got smooth windows as well that are even. So these are done. I think it's done enough that I think we can go ahead and get a primer coat on everything and see how everything looks. I just need to take some liquid latex mask and put on my on the indicator LEDs where I've made little clear domes for them. Mask those, and I mean the rest of this can just be sprayed. If anything, shove the wires inside of it and put a piece of tape. But I mean, it really doesn't matter for these particular pieces. But yeah, I think these are ready for painting. The other thing I did, I'm gonna move some stuff. So the other thing I did was I went ahead, since I was already in the tulips, where there was those detail pieces that has the fine etched in like panels that are going to get painted on the ring. They'll be yellow, that yellowish color. I went ahead and light blocked all that in the back side of all of the docking ports. I went ahead and light blocked, and for those, or at least most of them, I use that this one because it's so thick, and these I'll show you. These have a lot of really fine details, especially on the edge of it, that you really can't see, fortunately. Really hard for the camera to see it, but there's lots and lots of fine lines and stuff that go all the way around this thing, and they'll catch all the light. It'll be a nightmare trying to light block those, just like these detail pieces here, because that's where you have the worst time with light leaks. Honestly, they're worse than the seams. So I put the thick stuff there just to make sure there was no chance of light going through there. I didn't do a great job, but no one's going to see the inside of this thing. I just was trying to put it where I felt it was necessary to put the extra light block. And as you see, I laid it on thick. I don't care. I'm just trying not to cover anything that light needs to shine through. So that's what I've done with all of those. All of those. That's what I've done with this as well, since I had already got into doing some light blocking. Because I got to thinking, when we paint these, because how we're doing this, and it'll all just work out better. And I tend to, what I'm not doing with this model that I usually do is I usually do all like things together. So like I'm doing these 3 pylons right now, because they're the three that are going to go get built first, and is how the model is going to have to come together. Those three need to be done first. What I normally would have done if these weren't a pain in the butt and taking so long to do, I would do all 6 of these, not just the 3. I would do the top 3 as well, and I would do them all together and get them done all together, so that when I get further in the build, I don't have to redo all that work again. But these are a pain in the butt, so I'm just going to redo them when I get to that point. It'll give me something different to do. Might go crazy if I have to do them all right now, because they're testing me. They're not really testing me. It's just a heck of a lot of work going into them. But everything's in triplicate on this model, so I'm trying to do as much as I can in bulk to save me some trouble later on as well. And I'm going to do the same thing with the painting here, is what I'm saying. When I go to paint these, which is basically the next thing, go ahead and prime it if nothing else. Get it ready to start putting base coats and everything. I'm gonna paint this bottom ring as well, so that as we get them completed, we can go ahead and attach them. I gotta be careful because this tulip paint is not dry. I need to, especially because I put it on so thick. But when these go on, when I have them all painted together, because this whole ring needs to be completely painted. The first initial base coat pass, completely done. So it'll have all the colors and everything minus the weathering. It won't have any weathering. I may put a clear coat on it, just an initial clear coat to protect it, but that's all it'll have. Other than that, it'll have all its paint before I put these pylons on. Same with the pylons. All these will be done before I attach them. So these 4 pieces, these 4 assembled pieces need to be completely painted up to my assembly stage before I can put them together. But that's the next stage of this, so I'm going to let this completely dry, and then we will head to the spray booth and start painting everything. This might be too big to put in the spray booth. In fact, it probably is absolutely too big for the spray booth. We may have to make us a makeshift one and go outside to keep the crap off of it, mainly the cats. But this one may have to go outside to get it painted. But these 3 I can do in the spray booth. But that'll be the next thing. I'll catch you when we get to that point. So see you then. Okay, guys. So we're not gonna put a primer coat on this yet. The next thing is not the primer coat. I was being a little bit of an idiot. I kind of forgot what model I was working on when I was talking. This is my clear model. I need to do, so it needs a layer of white, a good layer of white, and then several layers of black for light blocking. So layer of white, and then several layers of black for light blocking purposes. And then when we get the light blocking to an acceptable level, then we put the primer coat on. Why do I still put the gray primer coat? Because it's the right color for the base color. When I put that Pantone gray, warm gray base coat on it, it works the best over the gray primer. So that's why I still do the gray primer. But so the next step is actually putting a coat of white on this, and then to light block it. So we're gonna go ahead and end the video here on all of the prepping phases, and we will pick up the next video on our light blocking, on getting the initial paint onto these pieces and get it light blocked, because that liable to be a good fight. That liable to have plenty of content just trying to get it light blocked. So that'll be the next video. So we'll end it here. This is probably a little shorter update, which, I mean, that's great. I'm sure you guys prefer it to be a little shorter, because I have a tendency of accidentally going on until it's over an hour long or a little shorter, and I really don't like doing that. So here you go. So a little quicker update today. We got everything prepped and ready to go for the spray booth, and I will see you in the next video when we start painting. So until then, everybody have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Happy modeling.